Guys, welcome back. Part 2 of our cleaning the erg video. By the way, anybody ever noticed Ryobi green and Concept2 green, same color? Coincidence? Probably. Ryobi, seriously, I like your tools. Here's the deal, guys. We are using a drill today because we're going to be getting into the guts of the flywheel, and I want you guys to be able to see the inside, and this is going to speed up our process a little bit. So a couple things you're going to need today: a towel and a little bit of water, and that should be it, except maybe a shop vac. I don't have one of those on hand though, so you're going to have to get your own shop vac. With that being said, let's take this thing apart. Okay, so breaking this thing apart, there are 5 screws that we're going to have to think about. Number 1 is usually hidden underneath this cross brace here, and then we're going to have to remove all 4 of these cross braces. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there. We got to get those 4 off, but we're going to start by taking out this perforated cage. Now, with your damp towel, I want you to have wiped down the exterior of this thing already to try and get some external dust off. Then you are going to come in with your drill in reverse. I love doing that. And then you're going to back out this screw a little bit slowly with the intent of not actually completely unwinding it. Okay, so I'm going to unscrew that. Then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to back out these screws just a little bit. I backed out too much. You're going to back these guys out just a little bit to loosen the faceplate. Okay, by doing that, what I've done is I've taken a little bit of the tension off of this mesh cage so that I can slide it a little bit easier. Now, if you want to come over here and check this out. So this is what was hiding underneath this bracket right here. So again, I loosened this first. I backed out the screw just a little. Then I backed out each of the 4 face screws to untension what's on this guy. And now I can slide this up so I have access to it, and I wanted you to be able to see it as well. So let me give this a quick wipe down. There we go, get any dirt off there. So you can see that it's held in place with a little nut that's on this end, and it's just pinching this thing together, which means that this perforated cage is one long strip. So now that I'm here, I can back this out a little bit more, but not, again, still not all the way. And what I'm looking to do is loosen it enough that I can separate them and pull them out in one long strip. Okay, there we go. So that should be enough. Good. So now it's going to separate, and now I'm just going to pull this guy out. Actually, I'm going to go the other way. You can already see how much dirt is inside of this. Check this out. Ew. That's gross. That's a long piece of hair. Ugh. Now I'm going to slide the rest of this guy out. Ugh. This is a dirty part. Expect to do some sneezing as you do this. You gotta help give it a little bit as you feed through. I'm not sure if you guys can see the dust that's in the air, but take a look at all the junk that's just built up on the inside of this. That is gross. So here's where the towel and the shop vac come in handy. I want you to first take a shop vac. Just vacuum that whole thing, okay? Then you're going to come in with your rag afterwards and just getting it as dust-free as possible. Okay. Check that out. That's the inside. And that's not even getting into the flywheel yet. So now that we have that guy off, now we can actually get to the faceplate and back out these 4 screws. Now again, there's another nut on the end of this. You're going to make sure that it stays pinned in. And what you'll see if you look at this, actually, if you guys want to come around here, you'll see that this nut has got a kind of a built-in pocket. So it sits nicely in that pocket. So all you have to do is just put your finger right there and it'll keep it in as you back out each screw. And that will also help you keep track of them so that they don't fall out and you lose it somewhere in your gym. And if they do, it's all right. Just keep an eye on them. If they do fall out like that one, then I just set them in one place, which for the sake of our time, I will just do that now in case anything does fall out. There's one left. There it is. And voila, the inside of your flywheel housing. Okay, it's that simple. Now, this is also usually pretty disgusting with a lot of dust and whatnot built up on the inside here. You're going to just get in here and wipe down every single fan blade and work your way through, okay? Give this whole thing a nice wipe down. You are making your machine very happy. But here's the reason. The reason that we're doing this is because as dust builds up inside this flywheel, dust creates slippage. And slippage means that it's like removing air supply from the flywheel, again, making it less effective. So you have to bring the damper higher and higher and higher just to achieve the same resistance. By keeping this nice and clean and keeping slippage down, as well as keeping air flowing in and out, you keep an effective flywheel. I have seen machines make huge jumps because they were so dirty that I had to take it up to a damper 10 just to get a drag factor of 125. That was a filthy machine. I think I found some live animals inside of that flywheel. But once we cleaned it out, we were able to take a 10 and it was up at 200 on the drag factor. That's a significant jump. Now, hopefully yours aren't that bad, but if they are, go clean your machines now. Just stop watching, hit pause, grab your tools, go clean your machine, and then report back. But this is what the inside's going to look like. So your goal now is to wipe down every single flywheel, make sure there's no excess dust in here, get all the nice little dust bunnies out. And if you ever have to do any maintenance to the flywheel, like replacing the flywheel, if you have a flywheel that starts to get a little bit wobbly and needs to be replaced, this is where you're going to access it as well. You can come in and remove this guy, and this whole flywheel comes off in one piece. So that's how you get into the guts of this thing. It's how you work on anything inside of here, and it's how you give this thing a deep clean. I encourage you to get into your flywheel twice a year. 6-month mark, 1-year mark. Just put it in your iPhone or your Android and mark your calendar. Just clean it. Get in here, dust it out. It will increase the longevity of your machine, and it'll make them that much more effective. It's like making a machine new again. To put it back together, you're just going to take this faceplate, make sure that the C2 is facing the right direction. You're going to work them together. They have little, I don't know if you guys can see, they're little knobbies at the end that'll help to feed in as you put these back together. And then you're going to throw these bolts in. Oop, doesn't want to stay for me. Okay, so we're going to do these one at a time. So now I am not reversing drive. First one's always the hardest. After that, they get easier. There we go. Number 2. Make sure you do this slowly when you're using the driver. The last thing you want to do is over tension these. That is a kiss of death. You don't want to crack any plastic, so be gentle. I just like to do this because it saves me having to wind a screwdriver, and it's very pleasing to the eye that my Ryobi drill is the same color as the C2 logo. I don't know about yours, but that's okay. And number 4. Okay, now remember, we're not tightening this fully because we still need to get this guy back in. All right, so I'm going to feed this back through. And again, I got to kind of help it as it passes under each of these brackets. It's much easier when this faceplate is loose and not fully tensioned to work this guy around. If you forget that step, this will be a serious pain for you. So good, I've got it back together, slipped together nicely, okay? I'm going to now feed this guy underneath this bracket again. I'm going to come back and tension this. Again, be careful not to over tension it, and then I can come back in and finish these guys. Again, being careful not to overdo it If you have to, just use a standard Phillips head driver. It might be a little bit slower, but if you tend to get excited with power tools, then this is probably not a good way to go. Good, so now I'm tensioned, faceplate's back on, it's nice and clean inside, and hopefully what you've done is just restored a little bit of your drag factor to the machine. So, guys, that is getting to the guts of and putting together and taking apart your flywheel, something I encourage you to do regularly, and everybody should know how this machine works. Again, simple maintenance stuff that's going to make this machine, your Concept2, last a lifetime. All right, guys, as always, make sure you sign up for our newsletter, The Hustler's Guide to Rowing, where you are going to get the latest blog article and video that we put out every single Tuesday in your inbox. And go to our website where you are going to find all of our programs and online coaching that help you for all of your distance-based goals or time-based goals, whatever they may be. We got you covered with online coaching. All right, guys, as always, we will see you on the other side, but also make sure you check back next week when you're going to get the trace of these video series.